It's that time of year. I'm going to shave off the beard and do a review of the shaving soap from Bearlysceneranch. And maybe talk about a couple of other things in the process. I haven't used this soap before, so I can't say yet how good or bad it is, but we'll find out in a few minutes. Something we were discussing on Blog TV a few nights ago, and most of the people there didn't seem too interested in hearing about it. And it's kind of sad because their lack of interest in hearing about it coincided exactly in what I was saying. You know, when we're preparing for whatever it is that we're preparing for, we all have a certain part of that preparation that interests us a little more than the others. Some people are gun hobbyists, shaving brush, and others really enjoy gardening. Some really enjoy canning or dehydrating, or some people love to eat. All of us love to eat. Some people really like the food storage part, and we all have a tendency to put the biggest part of our efforts into the part that intrigues us or entertains us the most. For those of you who haven't ever shaved with this type of shaving soap, what you do is you put just a little small splash of water. You put your shaving soap into a coffee mug, put a little splash of water in, use your brush to kind of do this bit to get a lather. And it looks like we probably have enough now. But we all have a tendency, back to what I was talking about, we all have a tendency to put the most emphasis in our preparations into the parts of the preparations that intrigue us or entertain us the most. I think I already said that. But anyway, because, well, for obvious reasons, whatever your system is, and as a theoretical system for this imaginary person, let's say that their system is that they put in $20 per week, and once they've got $100, then they go out and make a purchase. And let's say that person's interest is in guns, and they go out after 5 weeks and do their shopping around to decide what they're going to add to their preparations. They find a gun for $200, they put it in layaway, or maybe they just throw in another $100, add another gun to their preparations. And without even realizing it, their preparations are out of balance. Now, I'm not saying that the people who put away guns aren't putting away anything else. That's not what I'm saying by far. And I'm not picking on the people that like guns. I've seen people that are into the food storage thing do the same thing. They put the majority of their preparations into food storage. And then they just keep doing that over and over again. You know, I don't know if that's because they're not realizing it. Personally, I find myself getting out of balance to a point because it's just fun for shopping for the things that I like. And I'd say that's the case with most people. And maybe the shit hits the fan tomorrow, and the person who has neglected certain areas of their preparations finds out the hard way that they are not prepared. I guess what I'm saying is, do me a favor. Even more so, do yourself a favor. I would love it if you, the viewer of this video, would take a little time and take an inventory of your preparations. See what you have there. Again, don't tell me what you have. You need to know what you have. You don't need to justify anything to me, because this isn't for me. This is for you. Take a look at what you have. Take an inventory. Write it all down. And then once you've written it down, ask yourself these two questions. What is missing and what is lacking? Now, by lacking, I mean you have some of it, but you don't have enough. Is this balanced? Because I'm telling you, if you have 25,000 rounds of ammunition and 10 guns and enough food to feed you for 2 days, you are going to die. And some people will respond with that with, I will hunt. Well, folks, through the progress of civilization, we've crowded out a lot of wildlife. And if you take 350 million people in this country, and just 1% is saying, well, I will hunt. 1% of 350 million is 3.5 million people. 3.5 million people out there hunting at the same time, you're not going to succeed at hunting unless you're very, very lucky and very, very skilled. And other people may be thinking, well, that's okay, I've got guns, I'll take everybody else's food. And that may work once or twice. But while it may work once or twice, you're eventually going to find someone who had balanced preparations, and they have some food that you want to take, but they also have guns too. And they are going to kill you eventually. And you may think, well, that's okay, I'm not into the gun thing. I don't have any guns, I refuse to have any guns, I'm only going to have food. Well, those guys who are thinking that they've got guns and they're going to take someone's food, they are going to take your food and you are going to starve to death. And if you've got this false thought that, oh, I've got 3 months worth of food and I've got seeds to raise a garden. That's good if your garden succeeds and if you can be sure that food will last until first harvest. And at the same time, make sure that garden is balanced. Because we have a broad range of nutritional requirements. You're not going to find it all in 2 different vegetables. And then finally, the most common things that we forget is water. Because we're accustomed to doing what I just did. You turn the little knob and you get water. Hopefully I don't stop up my sink here. And because of that, we've been accustomed to that our entire life. We take it for granted, but one of these days, it could stop running. I think the Bearlysceneranch shaving soap is definitely worthwhile. If after counting your preps or taking inventory of your preps, you find that they are unbalanced, please refocus your efforts and get those items balanced. I'm not talking about this subject because I want to belittle anyone or say that I am better than anyone. Actually, exactly what caused me to get on this subject is that I took that inventory myself. And upon taking inventory, I realized that I am lacking in some areas. I was on Blog TV a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about a subject that didn't interest several people. And they were just strongly protesting the subject. The subject was preparation related. But they didn't want to talk about that subject because whether it be because it was uncomfortable or it wasn't something that interested them. And I often see this in blog TV, and I'm not saying this to point fingers at anyone or to say I'm upset with anyone or I'm angry with anyone. I'm making an observation of human nature. And human nature is to want to focus as much time as possible on those things that interest us. But folks, I'm telling you, there are some parts of preparations that interest us less that are just as important as the ones that we are very interested in. Also, something I find myself doing is I've never been a good saver. For example, earlier I was talking about the $20 a week and you sock it away till you've got $100. I can't do that. I have to go out and buy the $20 worth. And then what winds up happening is the larger purchases. For example, I need another shotgun, but that's like a $250 plus purchase. For a better one, the kind of shotgun I'd like to have, you're looking at $350. And as a result of that being a larger purchase, that purchase keeps getting moved back. And that may be happening with some other people as well. They're having a little bit of money to spend, and it's not enough to buy one of the larger purchases that they have in mind, whether it be a gun or it be some cold weather gear or whatever it may be, depending upon what your budget is. And they keep putting off that more expensive item. Well, eventually, there is a good chance that whatever it is that you are preparing for will come to pass. And when it does come to pass, you're not going to have that item. What I've decided to do with the shotgun is I found 2 gun shops in our area that do layaways, and that may be the route I decide to go. Actually, I have decided to go that route. It's not a maybe. I can always get it out of layaway earlier if budget allows. But if not, I've got 3 months. Another thing that is related is I think maybe some people have in their mind that they know exactly how the crap is going to hit the fan. Not only do they know that they are preparing for imminent disaster, but they believe that they know exactly what that disaster will be. And folks, I'm telling you, there's no way all of you are right. Let's just assume you have 100 people. There's only 100 people in the world that have that mentality. There's no way that every one of those 100 have the same scenario in mind. Therefore, there's no way that every one of those 100 are right. No more than one of those schools of thought can be right, and possibly not even the one. As a result, those people are so sure that it's going to happen exactly this way, they are preparing for that one scenario. Now, obviously, that being prepared for one scenario is going to make you closer to being prepared for all other scenarios. And there are some scenarios that are interchangeable as in regards to the type of preparations that are necessary for that scenario. Take stock of your geographic region. Take stock of the political climate and the economic climate. Take stock with your individual situation. Whatever is the appropriate balance of preparation for me, unless you live within a couple of miles of me, odds are your perfect balance isn't the same as my perfect balance. No one can tell you what the right balance is for you. To keep that in mind, think about it. Don't bother telling me in the comment section how this does not apply to you or how you're already doing it, because number one is this isn't for my knowledge. I'm not judging anyone. I don't need to know how prepared you are. You need to know that. So you're just wasting your time. I'm not saying I don't want comments. I really appreciate the comments. I love the interaction for the comments. I enjoy it. And I appreciate every comment that I get. But please don't get the idea that you need to defend yourself to me. because this is for you. This isn't for me. You need to know. And if you feel defensive about the things that I've said, then take a look at the man in the mirror. Maybe you feel defensive. You feel like I am personally singling you out because the things that I just said are describing you. And if so, it does not make you a lesser person or a lesser prepper or a lesser survivalist or a lesser homesteader or whatever you call yourself. It's not saying anything bad about you. We all make mistakes. We all make poor predictions, make poor decisions. Just change your decisions based upon that. Now back to the soap. The reason that soap is related to preparations, besides the fact that it is made by hand by a fellow prepper, and we should all try to support one another to the best of our abilities. But that soap, each one of those chunks of soap are going to last as long or longer than 2 to 3 cans of shaving gel or shaving cream or whatever you use. I'm talking about the canisters of air-propelled stuff. Well, that size is also, there's a lot of air in there. There's a lot more air than there is soap. So you're going to be able to put away a lot more shaving soap in a lot less space, which is going to be very handy, especially for a bug out bag. So that's how it's going to play into preparations. You're going to get a lot more shaving paraphernalia, so to speak, stored away in a lot smaller space. And I don't think I need to tell most of you that space restrictions are one of the things that make prepping difficult. So that may be worthwhile to invest some money in a shaving brush. One shaving brush is going to last you many, many, many years. And if you were shaving every day, I would say one of those chunks of shaving soap, even with shaving your face, and I'm not talking about legs take a lot more, but your face, I would imagine even shaving every day, you could shave for 6 months with one of those chunks. 6 to 8 chunks of shaving soap, and you're stored away for probably 4 years. That may be something to think about. That's definitely if you want to bug out. Now, a lot of folks may be thinking, well, that's okay. If crap hits the fan, I'll just grow a beard. And that's well and good if you've already grown a beard and you know that you're okay with having a beard. But if you've never worn, now I'm not talking about growing a beard and then shaving it right back off. I'm talking about wearing a beard for a long period of time. It's a little irritating if you're not used to it. It's the first time you grow one or the first couple of times. It actually, myself, I grow one every year. Every winter I grow one. Have most of my life. Most of my adult life anyway. And when it starts growing in, I'm doing this. And even once it's there, I still do a lot of scratching on the side of my face. It's a little irritating. It itches a little. If you've never grown a beard and you don't know if you're okay with having one or not, you may wish you had stocked away some shaving paraphernalia the first time you grow one. Just some food for thought. As always, thank you for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. It only takes a click of a button to give a thumbs up. I thank you all for all that you do. Whether it's just watching, or it's watching and rating, or it's watching and commenting, or watching and subscribing, each and every one of you are appreciated, and I thank you for letting me take some time out of your life to talk about things that are on my mind. You all have a great day.